Anyway, so I left with the intention of sitting by moving water, and this is where I arrived. I arrived at a stream going into a river. So this is, I don't know the name of this stream or this creek, but this is the Jock River, and it's so glassy, and I parked and I can just barely see the river from where I'm parking, which is perfect because I wanted to sit in the car and work without the children interrupting me, because I've been finding it more difficult to get into work brain mode with the constant interruptions. I think I just need a break. And an egret or heron flew overhead and landed across the river. And so I like worked up the courage to get out of the car and sneak, and there's some trees behind me. And so, not the willow, but the maple. So I hid behind that tree and stared and took some pictures of this bird sitting in the water trying to fish. And then I didn't want to scare it, and I apparently did, or a mallard duck floated by while I was doing that, and they left. And so I went back to the car, and then just as I was like settled and started doing the DNA activation today, it came back, and it flew, and it walked over to the missing maple tree, and it peeked at me in the van while I'm trying to do this DNA activation. It's peeking at me from behind the same tree that I went and peeked at it, and it was just such a beautiful confirmation and symbol and reminder that, yeah, we're actually doing the work that we're here to do, and that I need to trust that story more than the story that my ego was trying to tell me, which was that I am not doing a good job and I am failing at all of this. And I mean, there's lots of reasons that we have that story come up, because we're gonna fail. I don't know where we mistakenly misunderstood that failure wasn't an option, but I really feel humans are here to fail. And that's part of the amazing process of being human, is failing and getting messy and getting dirty. Maybe not falling in the river to catch a feather, but you know, it's important to remember that when we feel disconnected and when we feel like we're not doing it right and we feel like it's all fucked up, that we do get to come home again, and we do get to try again, and then remember who we really are, and remember what it feels like to move in the world in alignment. Because if we always moved in the world in alignment, would we understand the immensity of not moving in alignment? Like, there's that whole immensity of you don't know what you got till it's gone. Well, you don't know what you got unless you've had something else. Like, that's the whole reason we have other experiences. That's the whole purpose of this experiment in duality and contrasts. And like, we want to have experiences. Well, if we're all one in the same way, in that complete unity experience, that is amazing and powerful and an important part of how to be. Then we don't get to have any of these experiences. in the way that we're having them now, in this human way. And we're here to be human, to be a juvenile blue heron, or I think that's a juvenile blue heron. But yeah, so instead of beating yourself up, or instead of beating, like, that's confirmation that beating myself up and shitting on myself for the not being the right way, and then locking myself in this loop, this like ego drama loop of, well, if you're not doing it right, then why should you bother doing it all? And like, and then it's like this big suck of unplugging myself from myself, really. Yeah. So what's the point of having like, we're here having this experience in this world to have these experiences, and instead of judging them and boxing them up, we just enjoy the experience we're having, or don't enjoy the experience we're having, because not all experiences are joyful. There's more to be said on that. Not all experiences are joyful, but they're all valuable. Even in their discomfort, they're in their uncomfortableness is the preferred word. They're valuable. And so that's a really big lesson that I have coming through me today, is not to get caught in the loop when I make mistakes and when I fail to live up to the utterly high and perfectionist expectations that I place on myself. And that the goal isn't to leave this world and be something else. And that perhaps just leaving the goal aside and being in this moment and the next moment and the moment after that, when it is there to be in, and moving in curiosity, is really what I'm being called to do and to share. Because if there's anything I've learned about how I show up in this world, is that whenever I share the shit I'm going through, there's always a bunch of you that are going through the same shit. And that is my path, to just be a messy, shitty human being doing the best that they can, even if the best that they can is sometimes choosing to be less than perfect. So I'm going to end it there. Much love, everyone. Please comment. Please share this out if you felt called to do it. Please give me some feedback and let me know how this was landing for you. And much love. You got this.